Hi everyone, I am Shalwin. I am just making this video because some of you may know that Isaiah is leaving the podcast. He is choosing to focus on his career and his health. The podcast does eat a lot of our time, and we've been doing this for 2 years nonstop. So it is a lot, and the podcast is going in new directions. One we all agreed to, but sometimes hindsight's 2020, and you know you can watch Isaiah's video for further explanation on his end. If you're interested in continuing to go with us where we are still going forward, Bjorn and I are not leaving. It is still the Goosebumps crew. We have Hayden, who I believe is wanting to, join us as a full time. We've asked him. So Hayden will be with us as a full-time member. And with that, we have a lot of stuff planned for the future, but some things are changing. So what Isaiah did for us on the podcast, we always will appreciate. He's welcome back anytime he's, feeling like he has some free time and wants to come on. But I will say that we are, in fact, changing some of the format that the podcast has going forward. I wanted to share some of the stuff with you today because I think a lot of this is really exciting. I hope you do too. So I don't expect this video to be super long. I don't want to keep anybody's day because time is valuable, and I appreciate you even taking the time to watch this video. What we're doing going forward is we won't have a weekly podcast anymore. This is something we've talked about for a little while because of schedules, and doing nonstop Goosebumps content for 2 years is a lot. Don't get me wrong. There are 30 plus years of Goosebumps, but only so much you can talk about, especially on a weekly basis. So that said, in between the weeks we don't have a podcast, we're still going to do like little shorts, reels. Hayden's already made a really awesome video, which we will roll out at the beginning of the year, kind of kickstarting our quote unquote revamp for the Goosebumps Crew podcast. And I'm excited for y'all to see it. It's really great. Tim Jacobus is on it. It's just a short little interview and about a topic Hayden was really wanting to cover. So I can't wait for y'all to see it. But that said, too, with the new kind of format we're laying out, it is going to be, like I said, the podcast will be every other week, and we're going to shorten the time frame of the podcast. I know before we didn't really have a set time unless a guest we had on had a certain cutoff time. And with us going forward and being down a member, we just kind of want to make it easier in terms of like the editing and, because now any of Isaiah's responsibilities are now divided amongst us going down. So it's a lot when you're running on a skeleton crew, no pun intended, but we still love doing this podcast. We still want to continue it. We're also opening a business side of it that we will be launching next year called Scarelastic Entertainment. So with that, we hope to do more cons. We've already been in talks with Jesus, who ran Curse City Con, who owns it. They are wanting to potentially partner with us on something big we're going to try to shoot for next year. Tim Jacobus did a really amazing art piece for our channel for our new mascot, which we haven't named yet, but we may ask you all out there to come up with a name for our mascot with an homage to Curly, and we'll reveal that at the beginning of the year as well as part of our revamp. It's going to be a lot of changes. I know some of you have been with us from the beginning, and I hope you continue to stay with us. And hopefully the changes are positive. Like I said, we're doing a podcast every other week now instead of weekly, but in between the weeks, we'll have shorts, reels, or possibly even a small little project / interview, kind of like what I described Hayden was doing with Tim Jacobus. Very, very neat stuff, and it'll still hopefully keep everybody engaged with us, because we have some big stuff planned. With Tim's design, even, we're gonna launch a new like t-shirt design, probably with tiers through Kickstarter, for anybody interested in those, which will hopefully roll into a funded project that we want to do next year with the Haunted Mask cast. So hopefully you're all on board with that and can get behind us. I know with the Kickstarter, we tried a long time ago to get an event up and going of that size and magnitude with so many guests. We fell short of our goal, but we still made a pretty good amount. We only made 1/6 of what our total was, but the ones who did show up, we really appreciate it. And we know nowadays times are tough money-wise. Even for myself, money's always tight, being a single father and, working a job and then doing this in hopes of, making it kind of like another source of revenue. But I'd rather have this as a full-time job, obviously. I love doing the podcast. I love talking to all the people that we've met over the years. It's a lot of time and effort, though. So, and you don't get paid for it typically. We sunk a lot into making the shirts. We're still selling, by the way, from Curse City. So we do have a few of those left. If you are interested, be sure to hit us up. We will be starting a website. Hopefully in January, it'll be finished. And we'll have an Etsy page listing those. So that way you guys can hit us up. We're just trying to get our shirts from our remaining supply from our supplier, so we can handle it all in-house. So there's no delays with anything. Yeah, guys, I've it's a lot to process, and it's a lot to tell you guys about, and I'm trying not to forget anything, because I want you to understand we put a lot of hard work and effort into what we're doing, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that nobody sees, that we've done over the 2 years, between emails, phone calls, texting, trying to promote us at like other conventions and stuff like that we've tried to do, and we've tried to put on a Goosebumps event for everyone, and things like that, which hopefully that'll be in 2026. It wasn't in 2025 like we hoped for the 30th anniversary of the 90s show, but we just want it to happen, and hopefully we can make it happen this year. We are talking to places to potentially have this, and I'm hoping people will turn out for it. We may have to do a GoFundMe or Kickstarter to sell the tickets off of that, so that way that the space can be booked and things like that, because all this stuff costs money, and we have big dreams, but everything sadly takes money. But that's why we're looking, we're also like on the side trying to find investors or anything like that who would be interested in something like that. So it is a process. Nothing happens overnight. I would hope that 2026 will be a good year for us, and I hope it is for you all out there as well. We hope to bring you still a lot of really awesome Goosebumps content. We are also working on bringing you some outside Goosebumps content stuff, but still in the realm of maybe like Kids Horror in the R.L. Stine realm. Maybe, seeping into the Haunting Hour or Nightmare Room or something like that. There's a lot of talks within ourselves about what we want to do going forward, because again, Goosebumps, we love Goosebumps, and that's why you all watch us. But there is very limited things that we haven't covered as far as topics go. We can't get every single actor for an interview. Either they don't have contact information that we can find, or it is something that they just can't do, I guess, or they don't want to do, which is totally fine. We've had some that say, no, I would like to pass, And there's nothing wrong with that. We don't badger them. We just move on. It's unfortunate because some of them are from, really popular episodes, and we would love to cover those, but we just can't. But that said, we respect the decisions and we move on. So there's only so much Goosebumps coverage you can do and stuff that other people haven't done. We have done a lot in the Goosebumps world, and I'm not even ashamed to say, or afraid to say, I should say, that we have really kickstarted like a Goosebumps movement for some of the actors who were out of the limelight for a long time, and even contribute us as the podcast that brought them back in. And now you're seeing them at conventions, doing more interviews or whatever, so, which is awesome. We want that for all the fans, because that's what we want as fans. So it's very cool to know we've had that kind of impact, and we absolutely will try to continue doing something like that going forward. But in the meantime, that is the update I have for you right now. As far as the podcast is concerned, the only other thing I have left to let you know is that Bjorn has given up the Goosebumps Aussie fan name, which is why some of you have messaged me asking me, what happened? Is he okay? Yes, he is fine. He is actually changed his main account to the Night of the Living Dummy fan film. So you can follow him on that and message him on that if you needed to for anything. Whether he responds or not, I have no idea. I've heard sometimes he doesn't, but that is totally up to him, guys. So just letting you know, you don't ask me to be the middleman. I've had that before too, which sometimes I don't mind, but if he doesn't reply, he doesn't reply. That is totally up to him. So just respect if he doesn't. It's not because we're celebrities or anything crazy, like we're like, oh, we're too good to talk to anybody. Sometimes we just don't want to talk to everybody all the time, or we don't want to open up a window for someone to come in, I guess, if that makes sense. Not in a bad way, but because I've made a lot of friends through this, and I always try to respond to everyone. Maybe not always in a timely manner, but again, life's busy. I don't typically check my other general messages box. It's usually my primary one that I look through, and I just get to the general one when I can. So Bjorn, though, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'll leave it at that. That is just, if he responds, he responds. But just respect if he doesn't. Don't take offense to it or anything. Same for me. Just don't take offense. We love the community, and we love everybody who follows us and watches us and listens to us. Because, we do this for fun. Again, this isn't something we're paid for or anything like that, and it takes a lot of time out of our lives to do all this stuff. So just letting you know, he did change. It is Night of the Living Dummy fan film. So he has given up the Goosebumps Aussie fan moniker, the name and all that stuff. Kind of retiring that, I guess, but he did say he was going to leave the YouTube channel up. So there is that. And I will say, like I said, we do have shirts left. I know that's a weird segue, but if anybody is interested in those shirts, we'll keep them as long as we have them. We're not making new ones of that one. We do have a new design coming at the beginning of the year, and we'll talk more about that in another video. Like I said, I did want to keep this one super long. This is just for you guys, to give you all of our followers an update, all of our listeners an update, all of our watchers an update. So hopefully you guys stick with us. Hopefully we've got some great stuff for you next year. I know Isaiah is leaving, and it's funny, there's some comments that it makes it where I don't want to, I've said it in a podcast, but it just still cracks me up. Apparently Bjorn and I are too silly, and Isaiah was the serious one, but he's the youngest one of us three. So I always think that's funny. And we're not going to change who we are. We like to have fun. We like to goof, make jokes. That's who we are. You guys, if you've watched us for more than one episode, you know that's who we are. So, just saying. But I appreciate you guys watching this. I know it was a little longer than even I expected, but there was a lot to cover. So, I appreciate it. Thank you. And hopefully you guys have a great holiday, a great new year, and continue to stick with us as long as we can keep going. So until next time, followers beware, you're in for a scare.